This is what we call Shark's Point. And that one is Wolf Rock. Shark's Point. Say howdy. Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today. I do truly appreciate it. If you didn't know already, I'm a Joe R. Lansdale fan. I've got quite a collection of Joe R. Lansdale books, collections, and so forth. And eBay, as well as the friendly neighborhood mail lady, have hopefully hooked a brother up. There's been a Joe R. Lansdale book that I've wanted for quite some time. The problem is when I found it for sale in the secondary market, the price was more than I wanted to pay. Well, I think I stumbled into the opportunity to get one at a more reasonable price on the eBay. And there's a lot of bad words people say about the eBay, but all honesty, without eBay, a lot of my collection would not be at my house. So I dig it, man. Sometimes there's some bad experiences, but I've added a whole lot of good stuff through eBay. And this one is a book about a character, a recurring character, one of several Joe Lansdale recurring characters, a series, if you will, called Reverend Jedediah Mercer. Ever hear of it? Maybe. Maybe not, but Reverend Jedediah Mercer and his stories, his saga, is what you might call a weird one. See, he's Reverend, and he kind of serves God, but he doesn't like God at all. So, kind of a strange dichotomy there. But he's also in the West. It's gory. He's fighting and killing all sorts of monsters. He's a reverend, but he's very irreverent. And these stories don't seem to be very sensitive to people's sensitivities. So, if you don't like gore, if you don't like offensiveness, if you don't like bad things happening to good people, and if you don't like monsters, if you don't like westerns, if you don't like a writer who doesn't mind goofing off a bit, putting his tongue firmly in his cheek, telling jokes, being silly, you probably won't like this. But I think you should. I think you should dig it, man. Anyway, Reverend Jedediah Mercer and his stories, every one I've read, I've really enjoyed. There are a couple that I have not read. But first I want to show you a little bit about what I have. I have this one here called Dead in the West. And it is from Kennel. It's UK first edition hardcover, and it was signed by Joe R. Lansdale. I was glad to get that one. And I've got several books featuring this character solely. I probably have some anthologies and stuff that also contain it. But this one here, Dead in the West from CP. And let's see if I can get it out. Some of these older books and slipcases, when I wrap the dust jackets in Mylar, they can be a bit tight, although this one is not too tight. Dead in the West. And this story is included in what I'm about to show you. This one's from CP. This one was a signed, limited, slipcase edition, so it's one that I was glad to have in the collection. Check out a little bit of that artwork there. And I said it was signed, limited, and slipcase. I had to find the limitation page. One of the best Joe R. Lansdale signatures I've ever gotten. This one is a PC copy and signed by Stephen R. Bissett as well as Neil Barrett Jr. and Joe R. Lansdale. Let's put that one back. Put her up. Don't leave it laying around. So that is also Dead in the West. And if you haven't figured out, there's more. Wait, there's more. From Nightshade Books. This one also, Dead in the West. Why does some idiot have more than one copy of the same book? A zombie western. I do love that dust jacket artwork there. And let's take a look at this one here. This one is signed. It is from Nightshade Books. It is signed by Joe R. Lansdale. It's not a limited edition, but it is a cool, I don't think it's a limited edition. I think this one is just a flat signed book. Yep. A cool looking hardcover, so I had to jump on that. I've had it a while. And then I have this little daddy-o. This one is The Hungry Snow, also Reverend Jedediah Mercer. This is a neat little sort of a chapbook. See how it is sewn all the way through? It is so cool. It is from Death's Head Press, and this one was signed. I bought this. I bought a copy from Death's Head Press, and then I bought a copy from Subterranean Press also that was signed, and it came with some bookmarks here sticking out, which are kind of neat. There's Death's Head Press bookmark there. What else we got here? We got the Subterranean Press bookmark that came with it, advertising some books. Those are long. Those have been out quite a while now. It's been a while since I bought that one, and I got quotes from the warehouse. None of that worked. So I went to YouTube, and drank a Yoo-hoo. I don't like Yoo-hoo that much. Sorry, Yoo-hoo. I like chocolate milk, but I'm not a big Yoo-hoo fan. Although YouTube has helped me solve a lot of problems. I've fixed a lot of things by pulling up YouTube videos. And my wife wishes I would fix more things, but that's just the way it goes. If we always got what we wanted, it'd be kind of cool, but the other people around us might not like it so much. But also, here is a trade softcover edition from Tachyon Press of Deadman's Road. And this is a collection of 6 of the Jedediah Mercer stories from Joe Lansdale. Some of them are long. So we got Dead in the West, which is about 130 pages. Gentleman's Road, which is 30-something pages. The Crawling Sky, The Dark Down There. I love The Dark Down There. That's the first time I've ever read in a book about a place smelling like unwiped buttholes. And then introduction, The Reverend Rides Again and Again and Again and Again. But I dug this one. I got the trade edition soft cover. I thought it was signed, but I don't see a signature in there. So it looks like I got some work to do. However, the friendly neighborhood mail lady helped. I hope. This was an eBay purchase. This is an eBay book unboxing. They shipped it in a box, which I like. I also hope that within that box is enough cushion to make sure that when stuff gets bumped around, smushed, however that occurs, en route to Mikasa, that they've cushioned it enough inside to protect it. So seeing boxes in a condition like this make me a little bit nervous. I've been around. I've had a few deliveries in my time, so it's not like I'm trembling. But I was looking forward to adding this to the collection. So I hope it is protected. So when I open it up, it's stuffed full of this white styrofoam stuff in the shape of the letter S. This video is brought to you by the letter S, because it's a Western. All right, and then within there, my book is in a bubble envelope. So in theory, it should be okay. The seller did a good job. The seller did a good job of protecting the book, which I care a lot about. Although the glue on this bubble mailer is sticky. It's sticky. That ain't gonna work. Let me break out blade number 2. Thank you, Cold Steel. Let's see if you can get the job done. This is not an advertisement for Cold Steel knives, although I am using, at the moment, a Cold Steel knife, if you care. Take that out of there, set this to the side, and now it's wrapped in a bag. We're almost there. We're getting close. This is Deadman's Road. Ever hear of it? And this is a signed, limited edition. Smells funky. Smells like it's a smoker. Smells like it's a smoker, all right. Smells like it's a smoker. Out of all these books that I own, I'm sure some of them in the double digits came from smokers' homes, and I'm not pitching a fit about such things. I smell it up close, but I'm sure I'm sure I couldn't tell you which one of these up here now have come from smoker home. Although that's usually something that people... It smells actually kind of good. I don't know. It's not... doesn't smell like... whatever. Anyway, smells like it came from a smoker. But this is Deadman's Road by Joe R. Lansdale from Subterranean Press. And I want to show you the front dust jacket illustration. This illustration is Timothy Truman. Dust Jacket Illustration 2010 by Timothy Truman. Timothy Truman, I dig it, man. I dig it the most. It looks good. And you can't judge a book by looking at the cover. But golly, you need a good looking cover. Prove me wrong. Anyway, I dig the artwork. I really like it there. Let's take off this dust jacket. Looks like the dust jacket is in good condition. I don't see any tears or rubs, so I'm happy there, happy there. And then now this book, it's bound in what I would say looks like bonded leather, or perhaps some sort of leatherette, I don't know, leatherish sort of board, and a neat red hot foil stamping on the spine. Deadman's Road. So it feels good and it looks good. The end papers are red. And then this one was, I assume, a PC copy. Sometimes publishers, and Subpress was one of them that I've gotten some in the past, where they would have extra copies. And instead, many times a publisher would write PC on the number line for publisher's copy or whatever. They would just leave it blank. So that means I can write in any number I want right here and be good with it. So I'll pick the number. What's the favorite number? What number should go in this book? And I just leave it blank. But anyway, that was on the eBay listing, so it's no surprise. The seller didn't cheat me there. And you'll see the Joe R. Lansdale signature. One thing I can tell you right now, if you go buy a Joe Lansdale signed book, don't go on Facebook posting a picture of the signature saying, does this look real? Because it's kind of useless. You can do it if you want. It's not very productive. Because if you have 100 Joe Lansdale signatures, you'll probably see about 30 to 40 different variations of his signature. I've got shelves and shelves full of Joe Lansdale signed books, and I would bet there's probably 30 different kinds. Some you can read. Some look like a few squiggles. Some look like a whole bunch of squiggles. It's hard. But Joe signed a lot of books. And as opposed to authors like Stephen King, where him signing a book automatically means it's worth $500 no matter what it is, Joe Lansdale signing a book doesn't make it a very valuable, expensive book. So there are not, I would venture to guess, there are not people out there paying 20 or 30 bucks for a Joe Lansdale book, putting a fake signature on it, and then trying to make a bunch of money off of it. It doesn't work like that. But anyway, if you're concerned about the authenticity of signatures, limited edition books from publishers like Subterranean Press or SST Publications or the many others that have limited edition from for Lansdale over the years is the way to go, because that publisher got the signature page signed, stuck it in the book, glued it down usually, and then shipped it to you, guaranteeing its authenticity. So that'd be a way to go for you. But this is one that I've wanted because I dig the character a lot, and it is one of two. That's signed and limited there also. But this one would be the big one from Subterranean Press. It contains, what did I say, contains 5 of the Jedediah Mercer stories. So just like the other one I showed you from Tachyon, there is our table of contents there. And just turned in and saw an illustration. So let me flip through here and see if I can catch some of these interior illustrations in the book. And if there's one thing I love, besides being signed, besides being a hardcover, besides being a Smith sewn binding, besides smelling like smoke, well, put that on the list of things I do not love. But there's one thing I do dig. That's illustrations. Stuffing a book full of illustrations is a cool thing. And this is a set of stories that really lend themselves to illustrations. Joe Lansdale paints some pretty cool sounding pictures. And so an artist putting those pictures on paper like this in the form of artwork is cool. So this, I did not know really what to expect. I've been wanting this book for a while. But I've never actually seen one in person. I've never flipped through and seen it, the artwork inside, and I might not have time to show you all the artwork inside. Chock full of illustrations. So I'm gonna just try to pick out some and show you what she'll look like. And now I kind of see why this book is more expensive than I've typically been interested to pay for, because it's more than I really thought it was. All kind of cool stuff in here. I recommend you go out and get you one. Go out and get you one, add it to your collection. Do some Jedediah Mercer reading. All sorts of monsters. Monsters of all sorts. Some that you've never heard of. Some that I never heard of anyway. But some cool gore, Western action. Man, that looks cool. That looks cool. Joe Lansdale is one of my very favorite authors, walking God's green earth. And one of the things I always recommend to folks, if you've never read Joe Lansdale, I recommend that before you pick up a book and read it, by all means, pick up a book and read it. The Bottoms, by the way, The Bottoms is one of my favorite books ever written. So I love that book. And he's got some really good ones. Some excellent books there, but that's my favorite of his. It's probably overall his most popular. That doesn't mean it's his best, but that's my favorite, I think, of the one I've read. I've read it twice now because I liked it so. But I would recommend, if you haven't read Joe Lansdale, go on the YouTube or pull up your friendly podcast network and just pull up some Joe Lansdale interviews. Sit and listen to the guy talk for a little while. Get a feel for his sense of humor, the way, his accent, the similes that he throws around, that he just slings around like a hippopotamus slings crap around. You get a good feel for that. And then go read one of his books. And you'll find that reading his books in his voice really helps it all. Just tie it all together. Ties the book together. I read a couple Lansdale books before I'd ever heard the fella say a word with my ears. And as soon as I heard him talk, man, the bells rang. A light bulb went off, and I said, now I get it. And I've enjoyed every bit of it. I've enjoyed every story I've read from the author. A relatively new one that I really loved was a title called Moon Lake. Another one that I strongly recommend. I love that title. It started off along the lines, something somewhat similar to The Bottoms, or even you could tie it something along the lines of Boy's Life, or Something Wicked This Way Comes, along those lines. And then it shifted into adulthood, which was neat, and I liked it. I liked both portions. I liked that book a lot. But I recommend Joe R. Lansdale. Another great one from him is called The Thicket. Where is The Thicket? I've got The Thicket here. I should have The Thicket here. Where's The Thicket? There it is. The Thicket. I think there's a movie coming out about The Thicket. And that one was another really good book. And another one here, Paradise Sky. It's a slightly more serious Western. It doesn't have monsters and stuff like that. But it's got a very cool main character in there as well. But Paradise Sky is a really good one. I've heard Joe Lansdale say that was his favorite of the books he's written. And it's a great one. It's a great one. And we're coming to the end here. But this is better than I expected. Isn't that great? When you buy something and you get it, and it's better than what you expected. This is better than what I expected. The artwork is a plus. This material that it's bound in is a plus. And I gotta say, Subterranean Press did a great job with Deadman's Road by Joe R. Lansdale. And with that being said, I can think of no more lies to tell. So I want to thank you for your time. I do truly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing to the channel. The kids dig it when they see that number go up. And I dig it because it's kind of cool. That's people figuratively saying, we don't hate you. And I like that when people say that to me, literally or figuratively. But Deadman's Road is a great one. C'est la vie. Baby. Doo-doo. Which one do I use? I don't know. I can't choose. It's too hard to choose.